to the weekly episodic, the Sports Entertainment Show, starring me, Jason Miller. This is the 5th episode. We're going to talk about Raw. It wasn't that great. I mean, they had a big act to follow the week before, so I'm not too surprised that it was a little bit weak. Let's start off with some of the rough stuff. The Mark Henry return. I guess that was supposed to be special. I know they did the hook 'em horns thing to try to get over, with the Longhorn Nation down there in Texas. Do you know what the difference is between Cesaro and Damian Sandow? The answer is nothing, because both guys lost to Cena in epic matches and then can't win afterwards. Why does it work that way, WWE? I have no idea, but I'm kind of fed up with it. These guys, give their hearts and have amazing matches, and then their push just completely stops and it almost goes in a complete other way around. And the Cesaro match, 2 minutes and 10 seconds it took Ziggler to beat him. And again, I love Ziggler. I really do. I'm a big fan of Ziggler. But if you're going to have Ziggler and Cesaro have a match, let them go, man. 2 minutes and 10 seconds is not enough. Not acceptable. Do better. The Adam Rose segment was atrocious. Now, I understand what they were doing. They have the Oculus movie coming out on DVD, and that's WWE Studios, and they're trying to push that. That's what the whole segment is. But I understand that it's entertainment, none of it's real. I get all that, but it's just like a regular soap opera. If you watch a soap opera and they have demons in it, then it kind of like, well, what are we doing here? It's supposed to be sort of realistic, and him having his little mirror thing and I'm a lemon, that was awful. So yeah, that's not good. The Rusev Swagger segment. I like the rivalry. It's just that I would have rather seen them in separate matches. Maybe even, them watching each other in their matches. That would have been acceptable as well. Coming out to ringside, maybe on the announce table, talking about the other matches that each other were having. The same little spiel each week is getting old. So I would have done it in a different direction. I still think they're going to get a lot of heat, Lana and Rusev at SummerSlam, but I think you'd have to go a different route. You can't do the same thing week after week. The Stephanie and Brie close, you can kind of see Brie struggles on the mic, and I was surprised how well she did last week, and that's because they limited her. She didn't have to say as much. This was way too much for her to do, and you could see her really struggle to get through it. She has a very monotone delivery, and she's lucky that the WWE Universe have so much heat towards Stephanie, so it's not that big a deal that she's not really carrying in this feud. But it's... in general, I guess it served its purpose. I'm sort of surprised it closed Raw, but if you actually look at the whole episode of Raw, there wasn't anything that great, So maybe that's part of the reason why they wanted to close that out. But I mean, it's still the second. It's the second main event of SummerSlam. There's no doubt about it. The Jericho Harper match, I actually liked the match. But it only was 5 minutes. I think it was a little bit too short. I think they could have gave it more. Again, maybe that's because some of the other matches took so long. I mean, we'll get into that. But I have that in the good stuff. And the other big complaint that I have is that you've got a United States champion in Sheamus, and you've got the tag team champions in the Usos, neither of which appeared on Raw. Why? They're not good enough to get TV time on Raw? Make the championships seem important, and that's what they're struggling in doing. Okay, now for the good stuff. I mean, none of it's that great, but it is what it is. The Reigns and Kane match to start off Raw, the last man standing match. If you're a big internet dork like I am, I knew that they already had this match a couple days before the live event, and it seemed it seemed to do well with the crowd, and I guess maybe they needed to practice going into it, but it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I guess the biggest news out of that is that Kane gave back his mask after the match was over. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that they're getting, they're going to try to get rid of Kane and write him off for a while, or if he's going back to the corporate version of Kane, or they're just turning him face completely. I don't know. But it seemed like he kind of ran its course anyway, so I don't know what to do with him. The Bo Dallas cheat to win was pretty good, because at least now it kind of gives him another aspect, because I still think that's the route to go. He actually won a lot of those matches clean early on, and I wish it would be against someone other than R-Truth, but at least maybe this will put a stamp on that, and enough of R-Truth versus Bo Dallas, and we can move on to something else. So I'll give that a thumbs up. I'm okay with that. Actually, if it makes you laugh out loud, then I guess you have to say it was good. The Hornswoggle Fandango stuff was pretty funny to me, and anything that makes that stale thing different is okay. Between all that conglomerate of the Divas and Fandango and Diego and whatever next guy they end up bringing out, it's at least it was fun for 1 week. I mean, again, the way it was written and the way it was constructed, I don't think it's gonna come back again. I think it was just a 1 week thing, but at least it was better to watch that than what we had seen the last 5 weeks between that group. The Cena and Lesnar promos are really good. That's the best way you can see Lesnar. I mean, he's not going to be good in a live situation on the mic, but in a sit-down UFC style promo, that's where he's good. I mean, he looks threatening. He looks menacing. I'm actually surprised they're showing so much footage and putting so much stock into the match that they had 2 years ago, reminding everybody that Cena went over on Lesnar. I think that's just more fuel to the fire to tell you that Lesnar's winning this match. But yeah, I mean, both guys seem serious in the promos. That's good stuff. I actually like the fact that you got to see Stardust and Goldust in a match. Now, I know a lot of people online are kind of ticked off because it seems like they had a bunch of meaningless promos for 5 weeks and they're just going back to fighting Ryback. Well, what else are they going to do? WWE has screwed up their tag team division again. And it's funny because a year ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, they are pushing the tag team division. They've got all these tag teams, and boy, did they screw that up. I mean, they just cut them all up and then throw them to pieces, because they used to have so many more, and then just, again, screwed it up. But I'm not sure what else they're supposed to do, because they're not going to... I thought the whole Cosmic Key thing was going towards a tag team title run, but I don't know how they can do that if they're going against the Usos. That's kind of weird to me. And also, I found it kind of interesting that they lost the next night on main event. So, and they lost to Titus O'Neil and Heath Slater, but I think that is all tied together into a Heath Slater face turn. I don't think it has as much to do with Goldust Stardust as it does with a Slater face turn. And that's where we're going here, because the best part of Raw for me, and again, maybe I'm biased because he didn't even do that much, but was the entire angle between Rollins and Ambrose. The Ambrose match with Del Rio was pretty good. I like the fact that they made it so long, because that's something that's completely different for Beat the Clock challenges. You never see a match that's that long. So anything that's different is good. Let's start off with that. Anything that's new and different, good for WWE. I like that aspect of it. Now, it sort of, it starts triggering the stuff in your mind. Well, something's got to happen screwy, because there's no way that this Rollins match is going to take 15 minutes. And that's when you still thought it was RVD. And then it became even more apparent when they did the bait and switch with RVD into Slater. But I did really like Ambrose on the outside. He's just so entertaining. I mean, he does such that's so stupid, but he's so cool while doing it. It's hard to describe. Most other WWE superstars, if they were doing the same thing, wouldn't have the delivery to make that stuff look cool. But it's just the way that he does it. I mean, dude's over. Dude's over. And I think he has a very bright future. I'm very excited for anything Ambrose. And, I mean, I know it kind of made Rollins look stupid, because he was too worried about Ambrose out there. But he was ripping up his contract. It's kind of a big deal, It's not... I'm sure there's just going to get another contract. I guess it's sort of, you have to suspend belief that the authority was just wouldn't give him another contract because he didn't do anything to lose it. But, I mean... And it was nice to see Slater get a win too, even if it's, I mean, like I said, I think Slater has a little bit of a future if they actually did something with him. So my favorite part of that entire thing was Ambrose, and it's obviously him winning that stipulation. If he does not pick the Money in the Bank briefcase, none of it makes sense. And that just adds more fuel to an already over rivalry at SummerSlam. So I'm excited about that. And a side note on Del Rio, I hear they're not going to renew his contract, and I think they should, because there is a place for a guy like Del Rio who can go and actually wrestle and make faces look good, because that's what Del Rio has the ability to do. Not a lot of people can have 15-minute matches that they can actually sit there and watch. You know what I mean? That you're not rolling your eyes and like, oh my gosh, when is this match over? So, I mean, WWE needs more heels who can go, because a lot of the heels are in short matches and you don't really care about them that much. So if they're not going to renew Del Rio's contract, which I'm pretty sure is the way they're going, they need to have somebody else in that role who can make the faces look better in a well wrestled match, because there's not a lot of guys who can do that. So that's pretty much it for Raw. Like I said, it was maybe even below average. Really, I mean, they just couldn't match up to as strong as the week was before. But they still have the go-home show before SummerSlam, so not always lost. Sometimes you have to run in place with these things. You got a lot to do in a month. Something else I want to talk about that's non-Raw related. I was watching WWE Network, and I started watching my Saturday Night Main Events. I'm all excited. I sit there and I watch it. I'm like, what is this theme song? Well, this is not the theme song. And so I'm like, well, maybe they, after a year or two, they changed the theme song. So I just kept going through, just trying to find the theme. And I realized I went through all, 40 episodes, and none of them have the theme song. And I'm like, where's my Animotion Obsession theme song? This is what gave me goosebumps when I was 8 years old, when I was little. I want that song. And it's not there. And I'm even more confused because the promo that they ran during Raw saying Saturday night's main event, now on WWE Network, had the freaking song. So where's my song at? I mean, come on. Anyway, I was very upset that apparently I guess they don't have the rights to it, but if you don't have the rights to it, why are you allowed to show it in a commercial for the show? Because that's what they did. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, I hope next week's Raw is better, and I'm going to go watch the network and try to find something that's, I don't know, has some songs that I like.